G'day guys, how are we going? Well, if you're like me, you like to go out and do a lot of solo four driving and camping out there by yourself, you know, there's one thing that sort of plays on your mind a little bit is how you're going to deal with a mechanical situation, or even worse, how you're going to deal with a flat battery if you're out there on your own and getting your full drive started again. Well, I'm going to go through a couple of options, you know, today that I've got certainly that position covered, just in case it does happen with my full drive. So let's get into it, and I'll show you how I deal with a flat battery if and when it does happen. Let's have a look. Righto, so dealing with a flat battery, there's not that many options you've really got, you know, especially when you're out there on your own. You know, but lucky enough for me, you know, my patrol, you know, it's a manual full drive, so you know, I could potentially try and do a jump start, which means, you know, just trying to roll start it and get it going that way. But when you're out here on your own, it's pushing a 3-ton vehicle into, you know, down a big enough slope where you're going to get enough run up to maybe jump start that engine. It's pretty unlikely that's ever going to happen. So I've got to look at other options. So let's check out the two options that I do have, and we'll see how they go. You know, also, before we get into those couple of options, you know, just something that I sort of do on a bit of a regular basis, especially over winter when the temperatures are a bit cold, is I do check the strength of my battery. I've got a multimeter there at home, and you know, I can put it on the pins there and I can see what sort of voltage is going through my battery before I even leave home. So that, you know, gives me an indication on the health of the battery and make sure it is up and going and, you know, going to be pretty good for, you know, the trip that I'm going to go and do. So yeah, do check that before you do head off. So let's have a look at this first option other than that. So the first option that I do have to deal with a flat battery when I'm out there by myself is my solar panel. You know, I can hook this solar panel up, hook that up to, you know, my solar panel there, put the panel out there in the sun. As long as you've got a nice sunny day like today, this is certainly going to be an option that would help me out in a really sticky situation to deal with a flat battery. So that just gets plugged on there to the, you know, the terminals there on the battery. And unfortunately, you know, it's going to be a long process. Just going to have to sit there and wait, but it would do the job. At least it would do the job. Get maybe enough power back into that battery just to get it started so I can get it home. So we'll have a look at the other option, and this is certainly a better option than that, but this would certainly do the job just in case I didn't have this other option to go away on the trip. Let's check that out. Alright, so this is my third option. This is probably my preferred option, is my jump starter pack. Again, lucky enough I haven't had to go and use it yet for a flat battery to deal with in my patrol. But again, it's just a handy kit to have just sitting there, and this is certainly a bit more instantaneous than waiting for a solar panel to put some power back in my battery. This is just instant start. So that just goes into there, plug that into there. Got the jumper plugs there. Put that up there at the road. So I just hook this up to the battery, plug that into the positive and negative terminals, turn the key, and feeding away it goes. Now, lucky enough, I haven't had to use it on my full drive yet, but I have had to use it on a mate's vehicle there a few years ago, and it's just instant start. And so that's certainly the way I'd prefer to go with starting up a full drive when I'm out there by myself. And look, you know, jumper leads and those sort of things, you know, you can carry jumper leads around with you, but again, if you're out there by yourself, a pair of jumper leads aren't going to be much handy because you need another full drive to be able to jump start that flat battery. But you know, the thing you got to think about is with the flat battery, it doesn't necessarily have to go flat, you know, during the summertime. It can go flat at any time. You know, if you're out there camping up there at elevation, and you know, you might get a really cold, iced out night there one night, and you could wake up in the morning with a flat battery just purely because of the cold, or if you go a lot of snow camping, that sort of thing, that can certainly flatten your battery as well. You don't necessarily have to leave lights on or accessory on or something like that to flatten your battery. But when you're out there on your own, any mechanical breakdown is not going to be great to deal with, and certainly a flat battery, when you can't even start your full drive back up again, you're going to want to get it going so you can get yourself home. And that's my couple of options there with the jump starter kit. I'd certainly use my solar panel there if I really had to, last resort, but this is certainly the go. So there you go, guys. That's how I would deal with a flat battery when I'm out there camping by myself, out there with my full drive on my own, and I need to deal with that thing to get it going. That's how I deal with it. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys use if you're out there camping on your own. What do you use to get that flat battery get up and started again? Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you helped you out. See you on the next one. Hooroo.